free college football picks. This is week 8, part 5. I'm Tony T here with our college football pick show here for a Friday. Well, we have the Friday games as well as the 7 from Saturday. So we have a total of 9 games, and we're going to do all of them in 6 parts. So this will take us to within about 40. We'll get 44 games so far of the 53. We'll do the next 9 for tomorrow. And so we'll get the 9 for you here on this one. Before we get started, just a couple of things. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Free college football picks are updated all season long. Free picks every day from all the major sports. We also have MLB, NBA, NFL. It's a good time to subscribe. And also, if you would support our channel, like the video, thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Remember, visit our site, Tony'sPicks.com. We're a multi-capper site showcasing top cappers in our industry. Click the link to the hot cappers. Get signed up to a long-term pass. Follow the links and find the hot cappers like Tiffany's been red hot, Ramon's been hot, Nick, Paul. Click the link and get signed up to some of our long-term passes. As you scroll to our site, you'll see our latest premium picks, our best bets. Each capper can release one best bet per sport per day. You'll see many of them are up there right now. Our $15 premium pick. Each capper can designate one of their picks as a $15 premium pick just to showcase their service to you. And of course, our popular 3-packs are right here. Great value there on the 3-packs. And remember, you can buy our picks a la carte on our pick ticker. Keep an eye on them. Look for the ones in green. Those are the late Steam releases that are entered in our system between 10 minutes and 2 hours before start time. We call them late Steam, so those will be in green when we have situations like that. And of course, if you can buy those individually, but if you're a long-term pass, those are thrown in with the long-term subscription, as you will be notified by email of the late Steam releases by the cappers who are posting in place between 10 minutes and 2 hours before start time. Don't forget our promo code. You can save 20% off all premium pick packages. When you use that promo code TonyT at checkout, you can access our page by clicking the link in the description, the all capper tabs, and get signed up. Of course, remember our podcast, every pick in podcast form, Tony's Picks on all major platforms. All right, let's get this one started. Tulsa versus Temple, college football pick. This one is on Friday. Tulsa fell to 2-4 after their 53-21 road defeat at Navy. Offense really struggled against the Golden Hurricane, posting just 309 yards, 25 on the ground on 18 carries. Defensively, Tulsa gave up 455 yards on 69 carries, approaching 7 yards per attempt. Davis Brin completed 64% of his passes with 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 9.2 yards per attempt. Season-wide, the senior 61% completion rate, 9.2 yards per attempt. Temple fell to 2-4 with their 70-13 road defeat at UCF. Another struggle on offense for the Owls, 293 yards. They gained 53 rushing on 27 attempts. Temple's defense really struggled to give up 738 yards, 7.5 yards per rush, 433 through the air on 28 passes. Quarterback E.J. Warner, 55% completions in the loss. Season low, 5.4 yards per attempt on the year. Warner, 56% completion rate, 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, 6.8 yards per attempt. Owls running for only 2.6 yards a carry, so really no threat to exploit the Golden Hurricane in that area. Brin and the passing game will be too much to overcome for Temple. Play here will be Tulsa at -13. UAB versus a Western Kentucky college football pick for Friday. UAB 4-2 with their 34-20 home win to Charlotte. Another strong offensive performance as they gained 510 yards offensively, 279 rushing on 53 carries. They limited the 49ers to 327 yards, 214 in the passing game on 26 attempts. Dylan Hopkins, a 65% completion rate in that game with 10 yards per attempt. A threat to run with Hopkins. He's rushing for 103 yards, a touchdown on 10 carries in that one. Western Kentucky is 4-3 with their 35-17 road win at Middle Tennessee State. Hilltoppers moved in that one. They moved the football here, did the Hilltoppers, for 443 yards. They ran for 165 on 36 carries. Also limited the Blue Raiders here on the ground. Gave up to 220 yards, but on 51 attempts. Austin Reed, 65% completions, but a season low 5.7 yards per attempt. Season date Reed, a 71% completion rate, 7.8 yards per attempt. Now UAB, good defensive team that, and their goodness travels here. They're giving up 299 yards on the road. Hilltoppers, a home loss to Troy this season, giving up 34 points. Play here will be UAB at +2. FAU versus UTEP college football pick. This one goes off on Saturday. FAU fell to 3-4 after their 17-14 home loss here to Rice. Alice generated only 311 yards of offense, 185 rushing on 53 carries. Really strong defensive performance by FAU, holding Rice to just 263 yards, less than 3 yards per rush, at 197 passing on 28 carries. Nkosi Perry here, 54% completions, a touchdown, 4.8 yards per attempt. On the year, the Miami transfer is completing 56% of his passes for 7.2 yards per attempt. UTEP, they moved to 3-4, a 41-31 road defeat at Louisiana Tech, a season high here, 501 yards of offense, 181 rushing on 38 carries. They limited Louisiana Tech on the ground with 266 passing here. In the passing game is where they got it, where they gave it up here on 27 attempts. Gavin Hardison, 45% completions, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, and 6.3 yards per attempt in the game. Now in the year, Hardison really low here, 51% completion rate, 6.7 yards per attempt. Miners have won their past 2 at home, including a 17-point win to Boise State. FAU has struggled on the road, giving up 437 yards, 4.9 yards per rush. Miners defending well at home. The play here will be UTEP at +4. Arkansas State versus Louisiana, college football pick for Saturday. Arkansas State fell to 2-5 with their 20-19 road defeat at Southern Miss. Second straight game for the Red Wolves to go under 300 yards of offense. Team ran for only 50 yards on 31 carries. Defensively, they allowed over 4 yards to carry on the ground, 177 passing yards on 32 attempts. James Blackman, 73% completion rate and loss, 2 touchdowns, 6.9 yards per attempt. Season-wide, a career high, 69% completions, 11 touchdowns, 1 pick, 7.9 yards per attempt. Now, Louisiana 3-3 with their 23-13 road win at Marshall. Raging Cajuns produced 338 offensive yards. They ran it for 108 yards on 34 carries. Ben Wooldridge, 58% completions of the win, 2 touchdowns, 7.9 yards per attempt. Woodridge this year, 63% completion rate, 6.5 yards per attempt. Now, Louisiana, they're defending well, but the offense is the concern. They run over 60% of the time and gain only 3.7 yards per attempt. But the Red Wolves pass defense has been very poor here on the road, where they're giving up 296 yards, 16 yards per pass completion. Would expect a higher percentage of passes by Blackman here. The play here, Louisiana minus the 6.5. Southern Miss and Texas State, college football pick Saturday. Southern Miss improved to 3-3 with their 20-19 home win to Arkansas State. Golden Eagles gained 345 yards in the game. They ran the ball for 168 yards on 37 carries. Defensively, Southern Miss limited the Red Wolves on the ground, just 50 yards on 31 carries. Zacha Wilkie completed 55% of his passes for 6.6 yards per attempt. Wilkie had a touchdown, 2 picks, and has thrown 5 interceptions here the past 2 games. On the year, Wilkie, 57% completions, 6.3 yards per attempt. Texas State 3-4, a 17-14 road defeat at Troy. Offense generated only 293 yards, 86 of them on the ground on 28 carries. Bobcats limited the Trojans' ground attack but allowed 299 passing yards on 28 attempts. Lane Hatcher, 65% completion rate with 6.5 yards per attempt in the game. Now looking at the year numbers, not too far from this past game. Hatcher, 63% completions for this season, 6.7 yards per attempt. Bobcats have played well at home, including a 12-point win to Appalachian State. On the road, Southern Miss averaging only 230 yards, rushing for 1.7 yards a carry. Play here, Texas State plus 2.5. San Jose State versus New Mexico State, college football pick. This one goes off on Saturday. San Jose State fell to 4-2, a 17-10 road defeat at Fresno State. Spartans produced only 331 yards on loss, 37 rushing on 23 carries. Defensively, they held the Bulldogs to 334 yards, 230 through the air on 32 attempts. Hawaii transfer Chavon Cordero, season lows here, 49% completions, 6.5 yards per attempt. Season to date, Cordero here, 56% completions, 7.7 yards per attempt. New Mexico State is 2-5 after their 21-9 home win to New Mexico. Aggies gained only 225 yards in the win. They rushed for 106 yards here on 31 carries. They defended well, limiting the Lobos to 269 yards with under 3 yards per rush. Diego Pavia was benched. Freshman Gavin Freaks completed 59% of his passes with 2 touchdowns and 7 yards per attempt in the game. Now in the year, Frakes 48% completion rate, 6.5 yards per attempt. New Mexico State has been held to under 250 yards of offense in 3 of their past 4 games, with the exception being that home game in Hawaii. Spartans have scored 34 or greater against the Aggies the past 3 games. Don't trust the offense of New Mexico State, who put up only 7 at home to FIU 3 weeks ago. Play here, San Jose State here at minus the 21.5. Fresno State versus New Mexico college football pick Saturday. Fresno State improves to 2-4 after that 17-10 home win to San Jose State. Bulldogs gained 334 yards with 104 rushing on 36 attempts. They limited the Spartans on the ground but allowed 294 yards passing on 46 attempts. Bulldogs survived 3 turnovers. Logan 5, 69% completions in the win, 7.2 yards per attempt on the season. 5, 69% completion rate. Touchdown, 5 picks, 7.3 yards per attempt. New Mexico falls to 2-5 after their 21-9 road defeat at San Jose State. 4 straight losses for the Lobos, scoring 20 or fewer points a game. Offense moved the football for only 269 yards with 109 on the ground on 42 carries. Lobos defense held the Aggies to only 255 yards. Miles Kendrick 63% passing and lost with a pick and only 5.3 yards per attempt. On the season, Kendrick a career low 59% completions, 6 yards per attempt. Both offenses averaging under 300 yards the last 3 games. On defense, both limiting run production. To play here, Fresno State and New Mexico under 40.5. Mississippi State versus Alabama college football pick. This one goes off on Saturday. Mississippi State fell to 5-2 at 27-17 road defeat at Kentucky. Bulldogs a season low 225 yards with 22 rushing on 10 carries. Defensively, they did allow nearly 5 yards a carry with 239 yards passing on 25 attempts. Will Rogers, 67% completions for only 5.5 yards per attempt. Lost at LSU, he averaged a season low 5.1 per attempt. Now Alabama drops to 6-1, a 52-49 road loss at Tennessee. Crimson Tide rolled up the offense, though, 569 yards, 114 though on the ground, only on 31 carries. That needs to be improved. Defensively, Crimson Tide allowed 4.5 yards a carry on the ground, 385 yards passing on 31 attempts. Bryce Young returned from injury, completing 67%, 445 yards passing, 8.8 yards per attempt. On the season, Young 67% completion rate, 8.9 yards per attempt. Bulldogs too one-dimensional, and really the concern for Rodgers, 2 season lows in yards per pass attempt came against LSU at 5.1 per attempt, Kentucky at 5.5 per attempt. Play here will be Alabama at minus the 21. Boise State versus Air Force college football pick Saturday. Boise State improved to 4-2 with their 40-20 home win to Fresno State. Broncos 443 offensive yards, rushing for 316 on 52 carries. Defense was really strong for Boise State, holding the Bulldogs to under 3 yards a carry and 134 passing on 26 attempts. Taylor Green, a 55% completion rate, 7.1 yards per attempt. He is a dual threat quarterback. Now in the year, Green 61% completions, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, 5.9 yards per attempt. He has run 30 times for 229 yards and 4 touchdowns. Air Force 5-2 after their 42-7 road win at UNLV. Falcons posted 420 yards offensively, 406 rushing on 76 carries. Strong defensive performance here, holding the Rebels to 3 yards a carry on the ground, 118 passing on 15 attempts. Now, Hazik Daniels attempted just 2 passes in the win. He rushed the ball for 10 yards on 4 carries. On the season, though, Daniels, 47% completion rate, 9.9 yards per attempt. Boise State is holding opponents to only 2.9 yards per carry on the ground. Broncos' run game is journeying 4.9 yards a carry. Boise State defense holding opponents just 235 yards a game. The team is playing better with Green under center. The play here will be on Boise State at plus the 2.5. That was our college football pick show. Week 8, Part 5, Part 6 tomorrow with the final 9 games. Make sure to like, subscribe, set notifications, and visit Tony'sPicks.com for our best bets. I'm Tony T, back later with picks.